Free speech as outlined in the U.S. Constitution refers to the First Amendment, which states, "Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble, and to petition the government for a redress of grievances." This amendment guarantees individuals the right to express their opinions, beliefs, and ideas without government interference or censorship. However, it's essential to understand that not all speech is protected under the concept of free speech. The U.S. legal system recognizes certain limitations and exceptions to free speech rights, including obscenity, speech that is considered obscene, such as sexually explicit material lacking in artistic, literary, political, or scientific value, is not protected under the First Amendment. Defamation, false statements made with the intent to harm someone's reputation, libel if written, slander if spoken, are not protected under free speech. Incitement to violence, speech that directly encourages or incites imminent lawless action is not protected. For example, urging others to commit acts of violence or lawlessness. Hate speech, while generally protected under the First Amendment, hate speech that directly targets individuals or groups based on characteristics such as race, ethnicity, religion, gender, or sexual orientation may be subject to legal limitations in certain contexts, such as when it constitutes harassment or incitement to violence. True threats, speech that constitutes a genuine threat to harm another individual is not protected. This includes threats of violence that a reasonable person would interpret as a serious expression of intent. Commercial speech, speech that promotes or advertises commercial products or services is subject to certain regulations and restrictions not applicable to other forms of speech. Speech in specific contexts, certain types of speech may be restricted in specific contexts, such as in schools, the workplace, or within certain government institutions, to maintain order or protect the rights of others. While the First Amendment guarantees broad protections for free speech, it's important to recognize that these protections are not absolute and must be balanced against other important societal interests, such as public safety, individual privacy, and the protection of vulnerable groups from harm. Therefore, not all speech is considered free speech in the legal sense, and there are limitations and exceptions that apply in various contexts. An argument against the notion that free speech means unlimited freedom to say whatever one wishes to whomever they wish revolves around the concept of responsibility and the potential harm caused by unrestricted speech. Harm principle. One common argument is rooted in the harm principle, which suggests that individuals should be free to act as they choose unless their actions cause harm to others. Unrestricted speech can lead to various forms of harm, including psychological harm, incitement to violence, and the perpetuation of discrimination or hatred against marginalized groups. Social cohesion. Unchecked speech that targets or harms others can undermine social cohesion and create divisions within society. Hate speech, for example, can contribute to the marginalization and discrimination of certain groups, ultimately weakening the fabric of a diverse and inclusive society. Protection of vulnerable groups. Unlimited freedom of speech may disproportionately harm vulnerable or marginalized groups who lack the power or resources to defend themselves against harmful speech. This can perpetuate existing inequalities and injustices within society. Civil discourse and respect. A society that values civil discourse and mutual respect recognizes the importance of setting boundaries on speech to ensure productive and respectful dialogue. Unrestricted speech that is disrespectful, inflammatory, or intentionally provocative can undermine meaningful discourse and hinder the exchange of ideas. Legal precedent. History has shown that unrestricted speech can have dire consequences, such as the incitement of violence or the spread of dangerous ideologies. Legal frameworks that place limitations on speech, such as restrictions on defamation, incitement to violence, and hate speech, have been established to prevent such harms and maintain order within society. In summary, the argument against the belief that free speech entails unrestricted freedom to say anything to anyone emphasizes the importance of considering the potential harm caused by speech and the need to balance individual liberty with the protection of societal values, such as equality, respect, and social cohesion.